Welcome back to another episode of The Law of Attraction. Now, in this episode, I want to talk about acceptance and how that impacts this law of attraction and how accepting yourself will impact the return that you get from this law of attraction, or the universe, or God, or whatever you want to call it. And it basically comes down to accepting yourself, right? So, all of us know this, and all of us have heard this many times before. A lot of people would say you need to accept yourself, but I truly want to just share one of my stories about me having to accept something in my life most recently. And we've all gone through situations in our lives where that situation has happened and we had to accept it. There's no other alternative. We can't undo certain things, and in most cases, most things, like you can't turn back time and undo something or go and change the outcomes of something, because time has already gone by. And you can either accept that or you can't. And I think if you don't accept those circumstances or those things that came from a major change or something bad that happened to you, or whatever the case might be, then you're setting yourself up for failure, because you're not able to let go and learn that lesson and move forward. And I think life has almost divided humanity between either you can or you can't. And one thing that I want to just touch on is this notion that you can be whatever you want, you can do whatever you want. So all of us have got the same level of potential, and everybody can become a football player, anybody can become a songwriter, singer, an accountant, whatever the case might be. Everybody has that potential. And I think that it's not the case. I think that all of us look different. I think that there's no two people that look the same, that think the same, that speak the same, that do everything the same. There's nobody. So fundamentally, I think all of us are to the uppermost extreme different. And we might wear similar clothes and stuff, and we might act the same, but ultimately, fundamentally, we are very, very different. And I think that's the key thing to think about, is that because we are so different, not all of us can be that one thing. We can fall into that category. We can be on the spectrum of being an accountant or a lawyer or a songwriter or whatever, right? So all of us have the ability to be on a spectrum, but I don't think it's cut out. Don't think it's meant for every single person to be able to do everything and anything. And I'm not saying this to discourage people. I'm saying this to get you to accept who you truly are. And so my story is basically, I'm not going to go way back. As I said, I've had so many similar stories of like stuff happening to me, and change comes through, and that level of acceptance generally comes through. Well, the acceptance comes through change, and change comes through hard times. So easy times generally don't create change. It doesn't allow you to truly change, because life is easy. You can literally just keep going and doing that every single day, and you're comfortable. But I always say that the more severe the event is, if it's like a traumatic event, then that brings the most amount of change. And if you ask any person whether if they could have a choice between either experiencing something traumatic or not, living comfortably, they'll rather, I don't know any person that would voluntarily select the trauma, right? But traumas and bad things happening to us is a good thing, because it's life, and that's, in my opinion, it's life trying to show you that you are trying to conform to what humanity has created, the standard humanity has created. Humanity has created this standard where you go to university and you study one subject. Like, you've got 1,000 people all studying the same books, following the same career paths, but fundamentally that person thinks differently, they act differently, they are extremely, like, to the extreme levels, they are different. Every single person writing that exam, yet we want to give them one type of exam and have them write that exam and then go out and do the exact same job. And it is working to a certain extent, but I think that's the problem. I think life tries to teach you and show you that you are fundamentally different. I'm not saying there can only be one lawyer on the face of this planet, but I'm just saying that you are fundamentally different. So life tries to, through traumatic events, life tries to get you to understand that you're in the wrong place and you need to get out of there. People are addicted to comfortability, and they want to remain comfortable in their comfort zone where they don't need to think too much. They don't want that uncertainty. So that's why people would stay in an abusive relationship or in a job that they hate, because that is known to them, that provides security to a certain level, and that's why they in most cases stick to that, because they feel that if I lose this, then the unknown is so much more scary, because I don't know if I get out of this relationship, I don't know, will I survive? Will I ever find another partner? Will my parents accept it? What will my friends think? And all of those kinds of things. And that's why they stick to that career or that relationship or that way of thinking and going about life. And then something traumatic happens, because life gives you the opportunity, in most cases, to make that choice by yourself. Because you can see, if you look at a situation, you can see that this isn't working for me, yet you're choosing to stay in that situation because it's comfortable and it's less scary than the unknown. But then at a certain point in time, life throws you a curveball and you basically experience something traumatic. And it's just life trying to say to you that you need to get out of that situation. And I've tried to subtly kind of nudge you in a different direction, but you didn't listen. So now I'm making it worse, so that you actually open up your eyes and see that I need to do something that's more fit for me. And my story is basically, I've always been obsessed with making money. So I've always wanted that, not just making money, but the power that came with that. So I wanted to have the biggest business. I wanted to have the most amount of money, relatively, obviously, in the circles that I moved in. And I truly believed that that's who I was destined to be. I truly believed that I was a born entrepreneur, and that's why we set out to start this business. I've started multiple businesses prior to the psychology business that I'm running now, which has failed. But so this business, Psych Central, has been the first really successful business that's caught momentum, and that we could really start building. And it started growing exponentially. But I was so obsessed with trying to grow this business ever bigger, even though that the industry that we're in psychology, I don't think it's really built to become the biggest corporate institution. I think psychology is something that needs to have that personal touch and not become some corporate entity almost. But that is what I tried. And the business started growing exponentially in the last three and a half years, or 3 years. And then recently, now over December of last year, we basically hit a point. We opened up a new branch in last year, and we basically hit a point where we were almost bankrupt. So the company was literally, it didn't have any cash flow at that stage. And that was a very traumatic event, because we had to change so much stuff. So I had to question myself. So I always believe that I'm a very good entrepreneur, and I've learned so much over the past few years that I'm able to run this company successfully. I mean, we've had different, as small as it still was at that time, it wasn't a big corporate organization, but we had different levels, because that's what I saw in the outside world. So I saw all of these different levels. We had HR, and we had general management, we had operations, we had all of these different levels within the company, and we had big plans to grow this company just bigger. And we had almost over 100 contractors, and I wanted to grow to over 1,000 contractors. And we were doing all of these things, and we even had a year-end function at the end of last year, which was it was better than most big corporations out there, because that was the vision that I had for the company, because I wanted that power. I wanted to be recognized for having this biggest company and making a lot of money. And then the company almost went bankrupt. We didn't declare bankruptcy, but it got to a point where there was no cash flow at all. So we had to, in order to survive, we had to make major changes. So we had to move into a different house. We almost sold a car. We had to make major financial changes in our lives in order to let the company survive. And a lot of people would say, but that's normal for a company. Like, almost all companies goes through that transition or that stage, and if you can just pull through, then you'll be a success. But at that point, that's the change, that's the trauma that made me realize, it made me snap out of the avatar that I was trying to keep up and that I was trying to present to the outside world for that acceptance, because I fundamentally didn't believe that I was good enough, just me by myself. So I would never do a YouTube channel because that didn't feel big enough for me. I wanted to have the biggest building and the most amount of employees and all of those things. I wanted to have a legal team, and I wanted to have an HR team, and I wanted to have so much power. And at that very moment is when I realized that, okay, I cannot change anything. I cannot go back in time and change stuff, change the way I run the company or whatever. So I have to now deal with the trauma and see how I'm going to move forward. So at that stage is where I recognized and realized that, hang on, it basically stripped me of the ability to maintain that avatar. So it stripped that avatar, it stripped that mask that I was wearing completely, and I was almost exposed to myself, rather. Not so much to the outside world. Very few people actually knew what was going on within the company, but to myself, I was no longer able to maintain this facade almost of who I was trying to be. And at that moment, I realized that, hang on, this is not who I am. So I've always thought that I was good at entrepreneurship. I thought I was born an entrepreneur, and I was passionate about it and all of those things. But then I realized that I've never in my life read any book on running a business. I've never watched any video or consumed any content on how to run a business. I've always consumed content on personal development and how to improve yourself, how to attract, how to manifest happiness in your life. And that's when I realized that, hang on, I'm in the wrong space. And life has tried many times, the universe or God, whatever you want to call it, has tried many times to show me in a subtle way that you're not supposed to be doing this one thing. You need to be doing something else. And I just didn't want to accept that, because that didn't align with the image that I wanted to put out to the outside world, that I felt I had to in order to be good enough. So we came back, we made all of those changes. We came back in January, we doubled down, we made major changes in our staff. We closed down the extra branches that was weighing us down, that was draining us financially. We let go of a lot of the contractors that we had, that was almost draining money from the company, but we weren't able to sustain that amount of contractors. We weren't able to provide them with enough clients. So we cut that down. Now we only have this one small little branch. We're back to the basics. We only have a few psychologists left, and we're actually financially doing a lot better than we actually did when we had over 100 contractors. And now I've got the freedom, because we've got less drama, less anxiety, less everything, less stress in the company. So now that allowed me to now authentically say to myself, okay, what do you want to do? What have you always been passionate about? And letting go of that the need to drive the latest car, the best car, that letting go of that need to live in the biggest house and all of those things to become the biggest company. Now I'm comfortable to say that we've got a small little psychology practice, and that's all it is. And it's still providing me with a lot of freedom, so that I can sit here and make a YouTube video. And now, for the first time, I'm able to truly follow my passion. And that's the message that I want to leave you guys with, is that if you're struggling, if you are presented with obstacles and difficulty, yes, some of those things are necessary for you to learn, but it's also life trying to show you that if it becomes and if it causes stress and anxiety for you, then you're in the wrong space. So let go of that relationship that you're trying to maintain because of what it represents for you. Let go of the job that you're trying to become, where you're trying to get that promotion for the next level and the next level and the next level. Let go of those things. The more you would let go, the more the natural stuff that aligns with your personality and what you're good at, the more that will come to you. And to me, I mean, I'm doing this YouTube video now because I'm truly, like, honestly excited every single day. I'm not making a video every day because that's the recommendation from other YouTubers. I'm not doing it because I've looked at other YouTube channels and that's what they're doing or whatever. I'm doing it because I'm truly passionate. Like, some of these videos, I don't even stick it online. But to me, the process of doing that, to be able, it's almost like my personal diary. The process of doing that is what I truly enjoy. And they might not be any good at this stage, and it might not ever get any better. But I believe that the more you put effort into one thing that you truly enjoy, that is when the law of attraction will open up and start providing you with more opportunities to grow, to expand, to improve, to do all of those things, as opposed to being in the place where you're not supposed to be because it's not what you internally or fundamentally should be doing. And so that's what I want to leave you guys with, is letting go of, as I said, the relationship, the job, the career, the car. Letting go of that fancy car that you're driving, you literally have to pay half your salary to that car because of what you think it represents for the outside world. Letting go of that, getting rid of that car, buying the cheaper car, doing whatever it is to let go of this avatar that you're presenting to the outside world. Because I always ask this question, like, if you wake up the next morning and every single person on the face of this planet are gone, it's like this apocalypse, would you still get dressed the same way you did yesterday, do your hair and makeup and whatever the same way you did yesterday, go to the same job, speak the same way, present yourself the same way? And in most cases, people would say, yes, I will, but they won't, because there's nobody to judge. There's nothing, there's no mirror in the outside world. Nobody's going to reflect back to you whether your car is not good enough, whether your job's not good enough, whether your looks aren't good enough. Nobody's going to reflect that back. There is no mirrors, and that's the outside world. It's a mirror reflecting back to you who you are internally, and it's not reflecting back to you who you trying to be. It's reflecting back to you who you internally, truly, authentically are. And that's why these avatars that you're trying to present to the outside world, it's fake, and it gets exposed, because the outside world, those mirrors, does not reflect inauthenticity. It only reflects who you authentically and internally are. So and that's why people struggle with manifesting, because they are trying so hard to manifest these things that does not align with their personality. They just want that car because of what it represents. They want all of these things. But once you start letting go of those things and recognizing that, yes, I am short, I'm not the tallest guy in the building, yes, I've got a big nose, yes, I'm not the best lawyer, yes, I suck at my job, yes, my relationship is in shambles, or whatever, right? Accept those things. Bring the power back to you, letting go of all of those different things. And the more you let go of those things, the more you draw the energy back to you, the more your focus opens up, your vision opens up, and then you start recognizing, and that's the synchronicities and serendipities and all of those things, the opportunities that all of these law of attraction teachers always say that will come to you. As soon as you start letting go, you now have the ability, you've got the energy back to be able to recognize those opportunities in the outside world. And the opportunity, people want to manifest the opportunity. They're stuck in a job and they're not happy with the income. They believe that they're working hard enough to get that promotion, but they're not getting it. So they want to get onto the frequency or vibration of that promotion. So, but that's not the frequency that they're supposed to be on. They're most probably supposed to be on a completely different frequency. That's a different career. And people want to manifest that opportunity. And that's what people, I think, they misunderstand, is all of these teachers will always say that you need to get in alignment with the one thing that you want, and then as soon as you get into alignment, then the opportunity will come to you. And people want to control that opportunity. They want to say, okay, I want the promotion, so I want the opportunity to get that promotion, so I'm going to try and elevate my vibration. I'm going to try and get onto that frequency, and then the opportunity to get that promotion is going to come to me. But what they don't realize is that opportunity, the opportunities that the ether, the outside world, the universe will bring to you, will always be in line with what you are supposed to be doing, what is in line with who you are. So that means that if you're in the wrong place, whether it's a relationship or a career or whatever, if you're in the wrong place, the universe will not provide you those opportunities. And you can try and manifest and visualize and fight your way there, but it will not happen naturally. The opportunities, you cannot manifest opportunities to what you want it to be, because life, the universe, God wants to reflect back to you who you truly are. You were born a specific soul, a specific person, right? And now you've gone out into the outside world and you're pretending to be something that you're not. And life wants to, God, the universe, law of attraction, wants to get you back to who you were born as. So if you're trying to be somebody else and you want the opportunity to be even more less of what you're supposed to be doing, you won't get that opportunities. Instead, you'll get difficulties and you'll get obstacles and you'll get traumas, because life wants to bring you back to who you're supposed to be. Life wants you to accept who you are, not what you think the outside world wants from you. So the more difficulty almost you experience, the more you know you're not on the right track, you know you're not on that right frequency. But the more you let go of those things, the more you come back, the more opportunity, because life wants that for you. It's a general law. Life wants that for you. It wants to bring you back to the person that you were born as. So the more opportunities will come to you, the more you let go, the more opportunity comes to you to become the YouTuber, the this, the that, going into this relationship, getting out of that relationship, whatever the case might be. And you don't know. But you cannot see that at this stage, because your vision is so focused on what the outside world wants from you that you forget and neglect what the higher power, the universe, the God wants from you or needs from you, and that is to be the person that you were born as. And so that's what I want to leave you guys with, is letting go. Like, forget about. And I think that's what's so difficult for people, is because we ultimately fear that rejection, because we're seeking that from the wrong people. And that's also what you need to remember, is that you've found yourself now, based on how you were brought up, the family that you were raised in, etc., the friends, the school, etc., etc., you are finding yourself within a specific group of people, your co-workers, colleagues, parents, all of those things, and you feel that, okay, I can't change that, but I need to now be accepted by these people, and these people want me to be a certain way, act a certain way, have a certain amount of money, have a certain career, have a certain relationship, in order to please them. But what you don't realize is that when you were born, you were not connected. That umbilical cord was cut the day you were born. You're not connected to your mom or your dad or your brother, sister, uncle, friend, teacher. You're not connected to them at all. we are on this planet to live completely different lives, to experience individuality, and that's what it's supposed to be. But we've taken away that individuality, and we act a certain way. We connect, we latch onto those people, and we say, well, it's my family, I can't choose my family. You absolutely can, because you were born as an individual. Because if your mom or dad or whoever, God forbid, pass away, then all of a sudden you are released. But before that, you can't be released. But that's not the case. You can be released. You can release yourself because you were born individual, as an individual. So if you find it difficult to make those changes, to let go, realize that it's because of you being in the wrong place, trying to impress the wrong people, trying to get validation and acceptance from the wrong people. That's not your people. And I think that's the game almost of life, is to recognize first who you are, being that authentic version of yourself, and then going out and finding the people that resonates with you, that finds value in who you authentically are. You don't need to be the lawyer in order for that person to like you, but you need to be the lawyer for your parents to like you and to validate you. And that's what we keep holding on to. So let go. Letting go does not only mean of, okay, I need to let go. I'm staying in this inner circle of my people, but I'm just going to let go of trying to drive that car or be in that relationship, because that's not going to work. Because the fear of judgment and the actual judgment will be so harsh that you'll soon revert back to following an unfulfilled, unhappy life, because you're just trying to please the wrong people. So letting go is not only, I would almost want to say it's mainly letting go of the people that you are surrounding yourself with, whether that is your parents or siblings. It's okay to put yourself first. It's okay to let go of those people and say, yes, I don't need to be rude or mean to you, but I no longer need to conform to your ideals and to keep you happy. So I'm letting go. I'm spending less time with you. I'm going and seeking out new people that will validate the authentic, true version of myself. The people that I would say I'm a lawyer to that person, and they would say, why? You look miserable. Where your parents would say, oh, that's good, because it makes them feel good, because now they can go out to their friends and say, oh, my child's a lawyer, right? I'm just using that as an example, or a famous YouTuber or whatever. But the true people, and the people that you should be aligned with and that will naturally align with you, are the people that, if you truly are miserable, they would look at you and say, but you're a miserable being, you're a miserable person, like, get out, do something else. And those are the people that you need to align with. So letting go of those things, letting go of mentally of what you're doing, the situations you're in, the experiences that you're currently having, letting go of that internally, emotionally, then thinking about what it is that you're actually passionate about, what it is that fits your personality, and going after that, and then slowly but surely starting to let go of the opinions and the judgment from your inner circles and finding new circles for you. And that is when you'll see more and more opportunities come your way, and you just being in absolute alignment with not only that car that you want or that relationship, but being in alignment with life. And then good things just start coming to you. The cars will come, whatever it is that resonates with you as a vibrational being will come back to you. And that is the message that I want to leave you with. So I hope this helps somebody out there, and I hope that somebody will have the courage to actually make those changes and letting go, and truly letting go. So if you need any more help to be able to let go of that person or that relationship or whatever, give me a shout, leave a comment, send me an email, do whatever it takes, and I'll get back to you. And if you've been watching up until now, as always, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next episode.